Yeah, we see these recording rooms all over the country, and for at least a decade, they have wired rooms with video, audio recording. It doesn't need to be done differently for whether you're a target, not a target. If they're not, they just roll that tape, and the audio is checked all the time to make sure it's good. Jim, I think there may be transcripts here. At least that's what I'm being advised to some extent. But I'd like to get to a point about the interesting part, in my opinion, about the prosecutor's case. You dance with the one you brought. I say that all the time. But this prosecutor's between a rock and a hard place, in my opinion. On one hand, she's got to bring out all the thorough things that these officers did and bring out witnesses to show that lack of emotion. But by the same token, they also bring out things that are helpful to the defense. For example, she just brought out there was a cadaver dog. They were concerned about a body by the water, that they actually were checking around with a helicopter, so have it over. That's great. And you want to show that as a prosecutor to say, we did a thorough investigative job. The bad thing is it yielded no evidence. And the defense certainly is going to bring that out in summation. It wasn't just that they made a mistake. They didn't do something. They did it and found nothing.
Well, absolutely. And that was established last week with the various witnesses that no body has been found. So what really surprised me is we just listened to over an hour this morning of a basically incomprehensible interview with the defendant. And then it was like, okay, we're going back to the sergeant. Great. Now we can have the sergeant interpret what was said there and to show how what Mr. Prokopovitz was saying showed some indication of guilt. But instead, she asked the question, well, is this consistent with your recollection? He says yes. Okay, what does that tell us? Absolutely nothing. And then they go back onto the searches again. What I would have liked to heard is some tying in of the interview with the investigation. And how did that interview lead them to believe that this man killed his wife?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we go back to some of these witnesses, like the police officer that testified last week, that do people lie in investigations? Well, yeah, they lie, but they lie for various reasons. Doesn't necessarily mean they committed a homicide, but there is a perjury charge in this case. That would be a win for the defense if they can get him out from the murder. We got to take a quick break, but as you know, we will be right back with more Gavel to Gavel coverage.